I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome everybody. Can you introduce yourself?
Heidi Connolly, Director of Special Services.
Oh, here we go again.
Is that us?
Yes. It did that before. Oh, you don't.
We're good now.
I knew there was adjustments, I saw. All right, we have adjustments to the agenda. Could I get a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you.
Who was the first?
Brad.
Sorry.
I heard it down there, but I couldn't tell who it was.
All right, we'll make boys. Consideration of the minutes of the April 28, 2026 board meeting. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Comments, questions, revisions?
Already did that.
You did good. All those in favor? Opposed? Non-voting? Okay,
I'm non-voting.
you're not voting, so I got Brad and Julie. Okay. Public comment. This is the time the public can make a comment. You can come to the podium.
Hold on, there's a rush.
Okay, now hold back. Communication.
We have no new communications.
All right.
Old Business Region 9.
Well, I have a report that got sent to me, but I was not at its meeting. I was, for the first time, was on vacation. So it seemed like it was a pretty cut and dry. They started out at first and did a vote on their budget, so that they budget for the secondary education was at $2,800,000. Let me make sure I say it right. $2,899,086, and it was approved and voted unanimously. Then the second article they did was for the secondary ed, which is the adult education. They had a number in there. They had to revise it by a little bit because it was a clerical error, so it was passed at $417,221, and it was voted unanimously. They also put up another article, which is new for this year, as RSU 56 did, for unanticipated fuel costs. And for Region 9, they transferred $25,000 into an account, and that was passed unanimously. And then they also had, if there was extra money, how they would appropriate it if it was so deemed necessary. The rest of them, they went into their board meeting after that meeting. It looks like it was pretty, at the very beginning, wasn't much that was going on, no meetings or anything coming up. They had a staff report, was Chris Barlow, which is our Skills USA competition director. He gave the directors a report out. There was 24 Region 9 students that attended the competition in Bangor. The students competed at the state level, and one group earned a third place medal, and students represented the school with professionalism and pride. Then after that, they had a meeting, they had a presentation from Dave Murphy, which is our adult education. He presented and provided a handout. Renovations on the Congress Street location are complete. Graduation for adult education will be held June 4th at the new Mountain Valley Community, I don't know what the rest of that word is. And what do they call it? Mountain Valley Community?
Community.
Huh?
Mountain Valley Community School.
No, he had an ES in it. I don't know.
Maybe elementary school, but
Okay, we'll go with that. At 6:30. They currently have 5 graduates. There's a possibility a few more before graduation day. Brenda reported that the superintendents did not meet, as 2 could not attend. The director's report, Brenda Gammon pointed out that the Sun Journal newspaper article, which highlighted the Alaska trip, that 3 of the Region 9 students were selected for and received scholarships of $10,000 each, which paid for their trip, which I had presented the last time about. Many school tours have already taken place. The Eddy School, DMS, Mountain Valley High School, Telstar High School and Deerfield High School have already occurred with the fourth graders from the Mountain Valley New Community Elementary School and DS coming soon. We got Town Fair Tire has given Region 9 a $10,000 donation this year to give 10 students $1,000 scholarships, what they call them toolships. Region 9 will also be giving a new scholarship in honor of a Sally Yarnish. Pretty well, that was all I could see. The upcoming event is that senior graduation will be held May 28th at 9:30, weather permitting. Will be placed outside the back parking lot. And Carl was there, so is there anything I missed?
The money was so they could buy tools. So like, if you can't, you need a certain tool for that.
That's great.
That was it.
Sorry, I was reading that. Terrible. All right, thank you, Bruce. Any questions for Bruce or? All right. New business, request for an overnight trip. Carolyn Biat, who
Yes.
obviously isn't
Yep,
here.
this came from Carolyn. She asked me if she had other plans, but it's
All
coming
right.
up quickly, so we need to get it on the agenda. This is an outing club excursion. It's part of the Teams to Trails work that they've done before. They're requesting an overnight. They will be taking school vans, so it'll only be about $100 in transportation costs. And yes, there is outing club money already in the budget. 6 students will be attending, 3 seniors, 1 junior, 2 freshmen. And Carolyn Biot, as the outing club advisor, will go, and Kate O'Connor's going to go as a co-chaperone. There will be hiking on Saturday, camping on out Saturday evening, and then rafting on Sunday. And it's been happening before. It's just we want to make sure we get approval. because
Where is
it's
he
more-
rafting?
I didn't look at the thing. I think I can look.
No, I meant they're hiking where?
They're up in Caracan, so.
Oh, they're up there, then they're on the, okay.
So is she driving the van, or we have a driver with it, or are we letting her take a van?
They will be taking the van.
So we don't have to have a driver, just we're providing the van.
Kenny said we didn't have to have a driver for this excursion, so they will be taking the van.
Okay.
Any other questions? Could I get a motion,
So
please?
moved.
Second.
That was Bruce and Brad. Comments or questions? All those in favor? Thank you. All right, warrants.
Yeah, so it's motion to call and approve the warrants that needs to be read verbatim. So it's either LinkedIn or you have it in your hard copy if you have a hard copy.
I don't have hard copy. I have no
I
copy.
believe I put a hard copy in for you.
I've got job descriptions.
You know what? I got one, an extra one over here.
Well, that's all right.
Where do you
Right there.
Do you got a hard copy?
No, I've got a draft,
It's
a
right up on the screen.
job
Well-
description.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to, I'm gonna give it to Bruce so he can read it unless somebody else wants to read it. Because he ain't gonna be able to read it up there.
The bid.
Just a minute, I just given some,
That's okay.
can't read without reading, be able to read. I don't need it, Pam, you get
Oh, now Carl pulls up, I could have swung
I'm
it.
sorry.
Okay, I just want the top part. So I make a motion that we vote entitled, vote to call and approve the warrants for the budget meeting and the budget validation referendum, and to authorize a notice of amounts adopted be approved in form presented to this meeting, and a copy of said vote be included with the minutes of this meeting.
That was your motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? All those in favor? Thank you. We got any more, we gotta sign them now.
Not as bad as it's been though.
Oh, you
Okay.
didn't tell me that, you just told me to read the motion.
Is
You
that
want
the
this?
one that we signed?
You want me to keep that? or-
Excuse me?
Warrants.
What's the one?
And warrants is what goes to the towns.
Oh, what we agreed on last
Okay.
meeting.
Yes, what we agreed on last.
Got it.
I gave everybody a black pen that I'd like you to use, please.
Is it the same pens we've been using for
Oh,
years?
yeah.
You need them. There's yours.
Okay, right.
Now they got it. Well, we really can't afford any, so we'll.
What?
But I don't need a box of pens.
Oh, God, I used to have so many, I gave them away.
I I went to,
Wait, there's more than one issue on site?
I know, right?
What is that on site? What is this on?
Well,
Go by where we sign, right?
but
Go to each,
Right below Bruce and Carl.
they're negative,
there's one copy for
but
each
with their
town.
taxes.
Yeah, it was a
I'm
tax.
supposed to know what I'm signing.
I think they said $890 something.
Do,
We already
You just
voted.
bought a school,
the
Rachel.
ones
What?
that
I
are,
bought a
You
school.
just bought a school.
Thank
if
you.
they apply for state, their fed state tax, they get a refund back on
So-
I
it.
just
so we
re-upped
do
for
the
2, I
refunds
don't
for
know about
seniors every
10.
year.
You do?
Yeah, $25 and we'll give them a property tax refund.
You
Just
just need to
so
make sure that you
So
sign
they
the
know
same line
that-
on each one.
Well, I would argue that actually,
Oh, sorry.
I get more than half.
It's not as important now, because I can make copies of
Yeah, I
mine.
don't,
my
because
phone, I
it's
don't
not
have-
really been
So we
announced.
just always have to make
I know,
sure.
but you used to have to sign a million of
$25
them
just
too.
I
a
know.
little bit of time.
Oh, my pen's not
Like,
I got it.
Just signing.
But yeah, I think Carter just told me they got maybe 20 or more people that they don't expect to be able to collect on,
Oh, dear.
you know.
200,000.
Yeah.
That's what, probably what's the
Are we,
Is he still on?
He ran, but he didn't beat you.
Yes, please, somebody got excited when the thing called.
Oh, I went under.
Art,
It's all right.
It wasn't me.
Art, is it just one page?
I think there's two.
Is it?
It's starting to dry out.
I knew.
That's for 7 years.
Whoops,
That's why I asked, like, it doesn't seem like. So that's approval use of school resources.
Oh,
It's,
Barbara, can I explain? Rick was wondering what she just signed, so I'll.
yeah, explain there, yeah.
So now that you've all signed them, one was the notice of amounts adopted, and what happens with that one, that was the one sheet with all figures by cost center. What happens with that one is after the budget meeting, I'll fill in the amounts that actually did get voted on for each cost center, and those have to go to the town so they can hang them up in the polling places so that people know what the budget was, because you recall the ballots all just say to approve of the budget that was voted on at the budget meeting. So unless they have that document with numbers, they don't know. And then there was one that was the warrant, call the budget meeting, and then there were 4 that are similar that are for the towns, because there has to be a warrant for each town so that they can have the referendum. So that's it in a nutshell. Does that answer your question? Okay, perfect.
Legitimate question. Oh, that's the minutes. No, I was reading your job description.
Thank you very much.
Turn the
I'll get that-
page.
I'll get that after.
Sign the warrants. Oh, this is good. This is a good thing.
That's that. Ready?
Okey doke, everybody done? Do you want your pens back?
I'll get them back.
Okey doke. All right, the next is ESEA, which I said, what is that? And what does it stand for?
That's the Elementary School Education Act, so it's the money we get for Title I, Title II, Title IV, that kind of stuff. And per statute, we have to bring it out to public comment each year, so it has to go on a board agenda. So what I've done for you is outline what you propose we do with these funds for 26, 27, which if you would look back to 25, 26, it's the same thing. So we take our Title II and our Title IV, because you can move them into Title I, we put it all into Title I. And with that, we have the prevention and intervention specialist who oversees the Title I applications and all the information for that. We have 1 teacher paid out of this, we have 4 ed techs, 2 pre-K ed techs, and then you can see that we do M+ site licensing, we have some supplies. We have to do parent, we have to reserve money for parent reservations, so that means that something to do with parents. So bringing parents in, like we have an ice cream social each year, give them information about reading that they can use at home. We have to also set aside some money for homeless, so we usually set $1,500 a year, then we have additional money from the state that's all homeless. Those are the 2 that we have to have, and you can see it totals. What we have is 585, we do have 130,000 carried forward, and so that leaves us about 63,000 to be used for summer school if we don't get the following summer. We had our summer school, we allocated money approved for this year, but if we didn't get it for next year, we would be able to use that, or we could use it as carried forward going into the following year.
So I forgot what Title IV was.
So Title IV, would you ask me?
Sorry,
It is, Title V is professional
professional
development.
development. And you're moving it to Title
We move it
I.
all to Title I because you can move Title II and IV into Title I. We don't get any Title V anymore. But I think Title IV is still professional development. There's two different types.
Higher Education Act of 1965.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's professional development.
Any questions? Go ahead, Bruce.
So, we did not get enough of the Title I and IV, Title II and IV to come up with the total amount we needed to use part of our carryover to pay the balance? Is that what we're doing? Is that why we're only up with 63,487.32 cents
Yes, we will.
for the
use
summer
part of our
schools? So you had to
carryover.
use that amount out of the carryover.
Right.
Does that happen to us every year, so we don't have carryover again?
So if we don't spend this 63,487, we'll have that for the following year.
Okay, why did we end up with 130 then?
Just happened over the last year. I think we ended up having a position that wasn't filled for a while, and
Okay.
it just
We
happened.
had homeless.
So what will we be
hotel
using-
Homeless too, didn't
What's that?
we? We had people in a hotel that homeless that we paid for.
That's
Out of
just-
that too.
Homeless?
We've had various things that we've paid for under
Yeah.
homeless, yeah.
So are we planning to use the 63 and change for summer school?
So I'm going to tell you, not unless we don't get Title I carryover funding. Usually about April, they release money that wasn't used by the districts that we can reapply for, which we just did and got that money to use for summer school this summer. But if they end up with a year that that's not available, or we don't get it given to us or allocated to us, then we would have this in our pocket to do summer school.
And they let us do it?
And they do. So what will happen is, like, going into the next year, you have to spend that money first if you don't spend it. So that money will get spent out in salaries, and then you'd end up with different carry forward money if you didn't spend it all. But you always have to spend the years
Most of these
before
months,
first.
yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? And it's just a comment time. Public can make comments. Any comments?
And people out there, if they're watching it, they can email me to make comments if they'd like to.
Have we been more productive this year? Because remember last year we had a few,
Last year, we had quite a bit of turnover, and at the beginning of this year, we've had some turnover. We have, however, been not having to pull our Title I ed techs to be substitutes quite as often. I will tell you, the last couple of weeks, it's been a lot of people out, and our Title I ed techs end up subbing, which obviously takes away from the intervention piece, but we haven't had to do that as much this year, so I'm hoping, and I know Brandy has asked for the M-Class data, which is our internal data, and I've asked Charlie and Jess to potentially come to the June 23rd meeting to talk about what that data looks like, because that will help us to see how much our kids have grown.
yes, that would, good to know if we're progressing. Any other comments? Huh? No, us, anything, well, us, because we're public. All right. Okay, approval of the DHS T.W. Kelly Dean of Students job description. Could I get a motion, please? No. Do you want to discuss it first? We're
I'll
all
give you a
quiet.
motion.
Oh, thank you, Carl. Second, I have a question. Thank you. All right, comments and questions?
Right here.
Oh, Rachel, go ahead.
Didn't you have a comment? No?
Wait, am I doing what that's called?
No, I do. It doesn't say what their credentials will be.
Yeah.
So we typically don't list them in on a stipend position.
Stipend.
It's a stipend, not a,
It's not a thing,
right.
but
But they're having direct supervision and direct contact with children, so shouldn't they have some kind of
Aren't they likely to be a teacher?
It's a teacher.
Well, that's,
They're likely to be an employee, and if they're not an employee, then obviously we'd have to do the whole background check and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But
They're
the,
not gonna take the job for $5,000.
and they're not gonna offer the job to someone who's not, they don't feel is
qualified.
qualified to do this.
Because I mean, they do have to work with parents.
Yeah, so my concern is that we have a lot of teachers that are still working towards being teachers, education-wise. And this looks to me like the responsibilities are part social services and part administrative.
So it's more about taking some of the behavior things off from the principals.
Which is social services, behavioral.
Well, administrative.
Well, true, but
Administrative.
Again, you have 2 administrators who would be posting this position if it gets, the budget goes through, and who would be making the determination of who they felt would be the best candidate in that position. They would not,
I get that, but
Read line 2, though, minor non-suspension type behaviors.
yes, but also
Yeah, so
communicating
like
with
the class
colleagues
clown.
to do behavior plans and interventions is really what the principal normally does. So that's pushing a little bit more.
the principals are not going to give up their authority and jurisdiction in their schools.
I think you'd have a hard time to hire somebody to do that.
Well-
It's not a high glamour position, I would say.
Bruce,
What is it, does it say somewhere, did I misread it, of what their hours are? Or what is this, like, how often are they doing this? We're talking probably a teacher who's taking this on as a stipend.
Exactly.
So
Which
is your
means it
teacher
would-
taking on the stipend, I mean, is this something that they're coming in at early morning, ahead of schedule, they're doing this on their free time? What happens when they're teaching a class and they need them?
So they would not be pulling them out of class. This is a stipend to do, the stipends happen before or after or during your prep time, so it's your own time. And the principal would not be giving something that's an emergent thing that needs to be dealt with immediately. They would not be pulling them out of the classroom. They would be dealing with more of the low-level stuff. So this was things like they were talking in class and somebody needs to speak to them. So they might pull them during their learning lab or prep time. Or they might be doing the truant and chronic absenteeism, and they can make parent phone calls before or after school. That is not they are not taking over the principalship or acting like an assistant principal. They are simply taking some of the low-level behavior things off from the principal so that they have more time to deal with the other things in their school.
Liz,
Is there any overlap with the SRO?
So the SRO handles things that are law enforcement necessary. They don't handle the situations in our school that the principal should be handling. So there's a distinct difference between, like,
I
if
just didn't
there's,
know if there was any kind of, with his duty or that person, the SRO's duty. And I'm sure that's more on the spur of the moment sometimes. It's not something he'd sit down and do ahead of time or
so
after.
this person might ask the SRO to go visit a family that's been truant, but they wouldn't, this person wouldn't go in lieu of the SRO, you know what I mean, we're not sending.
is there any way to add then some sort of like direct weekly or plan of communication back to the principal? Because I don't see that. I see a lot of like,
look at the bottom.
where
Each dean of students reports.
reports, yes, they report, but I feel like you're giving this person all of that responsibility, and then at what point do they have an action plan to report that responsibility, that
Well, I
action plan
think
back to?
when they mean report, they're not giving a report, they are talking to, meaning they're under their jurisdiction.
Yeah, what that means to me is that they work under the principal for this. That doesn't mean that their communication, or if they decide to make a behavioral plan for a student, that is signed off by the principal, or that is double checked or any of that. That just means they can go off and do it themselves.
Is the principal, like, I would imagine each one of them's gonna have a different expectation of the dean and
Different
He
places.
set
spoke
different
about it.
reporting.
Slightly different,
Presentation.
yes. And I think if you go back to the purpose of the job, the second part of it, it says the dean of students position assists the building principal. They are not taking over for the building principal, they're assisting the building principal. The building principal is going to be telling them what they want to work on and what they want them to do.
When he spoke to us about it, he said a lot of things would be a waste of time. He has a lot on his plate and like a real minor, he gave a speech, I think it was 2 meetings ago. I don't know, got it in the notes here. And he said this would help him, something like really minor that would take up his time where he could be doing something else that was major. He was talking about that.
And can I have
But
one?
Maybe
minor,
two meetings ago.
but minor is not behavioral plan.
Well, where does it say behavioral plans?
And number 3, communicate.
They all do that together as a team. They develop the behavior, they develop what they're gonna do. And I remember when they brought this up, it's because we don't have money for, what's the name of it? Coordinators, bar coordinators, and they wanted them to take over that. And what they do is they meet as a team over it
Okay,
and discuss what they're going to do with a child who's the behavior. That's what the bar program, am I saying that right? Yes. That's what sold me, because I know what Erin does over at the elementary, she does minor things too.
It really mimics the same one that you've approved for the dean of students for the elementary school, pretty much almost exactly, except that we knew that in this case, they would be doing some of that. We won't be, well, the middle school will be a bar school because
Yeah.
they reinstated funding.
They
The high
gave
school
money.
will not be bar school, but they will be doing that bar-like work.
Question? Any more questions? We got a motion in a second? Your brain's going, or you're tired.
I'm tired of the word. Shell shocked.
Okay, seeing none, no other question, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion carries. All right. Approval of the network manager job description. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
And second?
Second.
It doesn't mean we automatically get the person. This is just putting a job description, because you've got to have a job description if you advertise and if you interview. That doesn't mean there's a lot of job descriptions we don't have people in.
Have you all read all what is in this job description?
No, I remember the one from a long
I'm just kind of
time
curious
ago.
how we're gonna find someone
Yeah.
that's going to fulfill all that it shows on this thing.
I agree.
I mean, it's a great draft, but that's what it is. Because there's a lot of things, the amount of work that I read on this thing for a person to do is a lot. I'm not sure when Brian filled this out, whether he was,
Or was it an old
thought
one?
of what he was looking
When
out,
you
but
do-
there's a
When you do
lot
a
on
job
this plate.
description, do you have to actually do everything, but it just covers what you could be doing or
You
might
don't want
be
them to
doing?
have the ability to say, that wasn't in the job description.
That's right.
So it looks, a lot of job descriptions just look like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But the reality is he needs to know that that person has some capacity in all those areas.
But that's what I'm saying, is the amount of different variables in this is pretty overwhelming to someone's, I mean, unless someone's been doing it and coming, we're getting fortunate to get someone, so. But I agree, Brad brought up a good thing I didn't think of, is that way he's got it covered if something is there, yeah, it's in the job description.
I don't think you can get away with saying, and whatever else we tell you to do.
Because I just noticed it's not a regular tech person, it's a network manager.
Right.
Because the last ones were just, I don't know what's your title?
Information technology specialist.
Specialist. And when you interview, things come out what their capabilities are.
Yep.
And then you know, because this person could be already in the building, you know what I mean? They may want to be the network manager.
Well,
should.
I'm presuming they're not gonna take one person that's already in there and place it in there, and now you're still in a deficit.
Well, no, and that they're still gonna advertise
Yeah.
for, for it's whatever comes our way,
But
I
we're looking
guess.
at hiring a new person beyond what we have now, not
Yes.
moving someone that we have now into a new position.
So I want to be clear about any position. When we post a position,
Anybody can apply.
anybody can apply. And if we have an internal candidate that is the best candidate for that position, we would put them in that position and we would post the open position that becomes available. Because we
Yeah.
would never tell our employees that they can't apply for a new position.
But I just wanted to make sure that we are looking to add another person.
We are looking to
Yes.
add another
Whatever
person.
level we're talking of, we're
Yeah.
adding another person. Okay.
And I just want to give an explanation of this because we did not have this before, like this job description. So Brian and I got job description, network manager job descriptions from a number of surrounding districts that have this position. And we looked at all of them and we took the pieces that we thought were appropriate for what we were going to be asking for here. So this is definitely shorter than some other network manager job descriptions, but it's also a little bit longer than others.
They are.
But we just took pieces of it and we made what we felt was going to be best for RSU 56.
You could also find that it's very likely anybody with experience would look at that list and realize a lot of those things overlap each other.
Yeah, if you know how to do the LAN and the WAN and the, it's like you probably
I
know
don't
how
wanna
to do
do
that. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna know how
For a
to do.
layperson, it would just be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So this position will open after the budget is passed.
So this position will not be filled until after the budget passed. This position has been posted as anticipated, so that if there's anybody out there, we can start the process and we're not like backed up into the Netherlands in July before we get to it. But we all are well aware that these positions would not be filled until the budget passes.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? Thank you. Board member comments? Can't think of it.
Everybody's tired.
Bruce?
I only have one, and it's just what we went through with talking about these dean of student stipends that we've done. My question, or my concern is going to be is I would like to have a presentation from each building principal somewhere through next year that gives us how this job has fulfilled the requirements. Is it working well? Was it a waste of district money? Because, again, looking at what they're asking them to do, I'm pretty sure it's going to be teaching in the building, because I don't see someone from the outside coming in for what we're going to be paying them to do what they need to do. The question is are they going to be able to perform what needs to be done? I know you're not going to take them out of class, but, it's just, there's a lot of ifs. If this is going to work. I'm all for it to see it work, but I want to hear a report that it did work.
Absolutely. We'll have them put them on the agenda next year.
Brad?
So two things. I would like to see that twice next year, so there is, and maybe so it's somewhere into the year, and then it's towards the end of the year, and then, have our principals, when they do their reports, to say how it's going or something. I was at Carthage Town Office the other day getting sworn in, and the head selectman, Peter Stankovich, actually, and Chairman Burdine were talking to me about the budget. And first of all, they were very complimentary to you, Pam, for offering a forum for them to come and sit and learn about the aspects of the budget in more detail. And Peter made that very clear. They really appreciated that. But they did have some comments about some things that I thought would be appropriate to pass on. One of them is, I think it was very evident that two of them are fed up with seeing percentage increases when we do our contract renewals. And we're wondering why we're not, they didn't specifically talk about merit, they were talking about, dollar amount raises, because they worry about the burden, the financial burden that carries forward every time you raise someone's salary. And so I thought we mentioned that. And I told them, I said, I think what you need to do is, before negotiations, I think that you need to either come talk to the superintendent or have the others, select boards, if they feel the same way, say what you need to say. Have it be known what you'd like to see. Additionally, they were talking about, at this point, the amount of increase, I think if I got it right, was $891 a month for the town of Carthage, based on the way the budget is right now. And Peter said, well, I realized, you spread that across everybody in town, it's not a lot of money. I said, no, I understand that. But he said, the budget increases have to stop. With that being said, I'm like, where would you say that you cut money? And respectfully, Peter, he had said, well, the layers of leadership, there's too many layers of leadership. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you, I don't think that that's actually the case. In fact, for a long time, we didn't have enough leadership. And Superintendent Doyen has taken on, for a number of years, 2 jobs, which is a nearly impossible feat to do with a very high level of quality and certainly not as stressed. But I had suggested that select boards need to start getting together across the state and combining together for like a united message to their state reps and their senators that the budget increases in Augusta are absurd and they have to stop. And it's not just school districts who are inflating their local town budget, but on a larger scale, it is what's going on in Augusta. And I think, in my opinion, is too many people ignore Augusta, like nothing can be done. But we can get together and say, hey, it's one thing to watch gas increase, it's one thing to watch food increase and some of the other commodities that we buy every day. But we do have control in Augusta about what we're spending money on and where we're wasting money. So, I don't know, I would, if anybody, I suspect Lieutenant Carthage is listening tonight, I meant that very seriously. You need to get together and we should endorse all of our select boards and school boards to get together and say this is going to stop, because there's going to be a point where citizens are going to go, yeah, not approving that anymore. And it won't be anybody, in the school's fault for that. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Liz?
Yeah, I've heard this morning something about all kinds of ticks over at DES on the kids for being out in the field playing, and they were wondering if they could spray for ticks. I don't know if that's possible or not.
So Kenny deals with this every year because you cannot put chemicals in a field that you're gonna put
I
kids
figured
on.
that,
So he does work with what he can, but you cannot
I didn't know if there
spray
was
and
some kind
send kids
of
out.
spray that's pet animal person friendly at all.
He will check again, but he's checked every year with,
Can you put diatomaceous earth down?
what's that?
The diatomaceous earth? That's what,
Diatomaceous earth
yeah, that's what we use.
is edible, and you put it down
It
and
is.
it desiccates
Yep.
the bugs. It dries them right out.
It's kid friendly, pet friendly.
Super safe. And they
We'll
can just,
ask Kenny to check it again.
Yep.
So that was one thing, and then last night at the selectmen's meeting, there was a comment from a couple of people about bus runs. And of course, they see the buses coming and going, and there's all kinds of them, and sometimes they don't think they're full, and they wonder if they could double up on bus runs. And, I don't know if that's possible, and not only Kenny knows that, but also it had been mentioned, why pick up every street in Dixfield? Why not have a pickup area for, say, the kids up in that area, and then kids down below, what we used to call Cement Hill?
it's how it used
If
to
you lived here long enough, you know where I mean. So Southern Park, Northern Park, whatever it is. So that was a suggestion that someone said that maybe they could not run every street, but yet pick up. So just passing that on for thought.
Rachel?
Yep, last meeting I said something about the school zone signs. I also want to re-say that again. So when I looked further into about the school zone signs, it is the school board or the superintendent's responsibility to adjust them and bring them to the Department of Transportation. So because they don't match what we're doing is a problem, and the buses are not following the speed. The buses, our transportation is not, our parents are not, and I also don't know why I haven't seen our officer out there for a long time. When he was out there, it was a little more controlled, but haven't seen him, so it's a little less controlled, and there's been a lot of chaotic running in and out of the streets and things going on, and I thought maybe we could readdress why our signs are not matching the bus pickups.
The state takes care of that, because that's 142.
We are responsible to tell them that
That's
our
right.
signs are wrong,
Right.
and then they will do it,
When
but,
they get ready.
right.
Why are our signs
When they
wrong?
get ready.
I'm not sure what the issue is.
So they don't match the pickup times. They don't match definitely don't match our pickup and drop-off times. There are buses outside of those times picking up students and dropping them off. So then they are not, no one's following the speed zones, including the buses.
Are you talking about like the lights that are like over to Peru that they come on in the morning?
No,
Light
I'm talking
flashes?
about our school zone right here.
Okay,
I know
it
that.
starts at what, 1:30 till 2:30?
1:30, 2:30, 7:30 to 8:30, and you're outside of that.
Do we actually have a like, electronic sign on here?
We
No,
don't have
we're
one.
we're on the
We
list.
should have one.
Want to improve?
Yeah, Peru has it. Yeah.
We should have one here because it's a little chaotic.
We're on the list.
I know.
What the state does is.
But at least we could have them change this,
You know,
the
there's a
times,
waiting list.
frames.
Yeah.
What would you change the signs to?
Hmm?
What would you change the signs to?
To match our actual pickup drop-off times, they don't match.
So our buses drop off between 7:30 and 5 minutes of 8, and our pickup is at 2:20.
So you have buses that are dropping off after 8:30, and you have buses that are dropping up all the way up till 2:45.
The only time we have buses after 8:30 is on late arrival Wednesdays. On regular school days, our buses at the high school, we open the doors at 7:30, that's when our buses can drop off, and classes start at 5 minutes of 8.
But you have buses that are later than that, and in the afternoon, you have pickups and drop-offs in this parking lot with buses all the way up till 2:45.
I would agree that we might have those at the
The
end.
one late
Because we do start dismissal at 2:20, and we have our reverse. So the afternoon one probably could be adjusted at some point. And I have called the state, asked for the work to be done out here. And I also want to note that our SRO has been out last week and this week because he is out on military training.
Oh, we can't help that one.
I can't help it if he's not.
Can't help that one.
But he will be
But
back.
usually-
I
He'll be
noticed
back
he
on
wasn't
Thursday.
around.
Yeah.
We haven't advertised that he's not here because we.
You don't want to,
Well,
but.
and usually when he's out front, it's a little less chaotic, but, I mean, it's still chaotic because even the school buses aren't following the thing, you know?
And have Kenny talk with all school buses again, but we have had that conversation repeatedly about 15 miles an hour for those times.
Hey, any other board member comments? Superintendent's report.
Yes, Mary and I attended the Dixfield Select Board meeting last night to provide an overview of the FY27 school budget. And then we left there and had a double feature and went to the Peru Select Board meeting and gave them an update of the FY27 budget. We will be attending, or I told Mary she could take Thursday off. I'll be going to the Canton Select Board meeting on Thursday evening to also provide that. Carthage decided they did not need us to attend the Select Board meeting, but the offer remains open if they change their mind. Want to let you know that yesterday, the author Rosemary Wells was at Jericho Elementary School. She has like 130 children's books
I was gonna
that
say
she's
that.
read. She provided a school-wide assembly about being an author and illustrator. She also ran a writing workshop with 4th and 5th grade students. I enjoyed meeting her and seeing her in action, but the thing that I felt was like crazy amazing on top of that was that the Friends of River Valley and this group called Team Long Run provided a copy of Yoko, which is one of Rosemary Wells' books, and every student at the school got a book by Rosemary Wells. And that continued their theme on Asia, which was their Diversity Day Arts Alive theme, which was great. I just want to remind board members that if you want to attend graduation, please let me or the high school know that you want a ticket so we can reserve one for you. And I also need to inform you that we will not be having a June 8th board meeting because that is the day that I will be having my hip replaced. I intend to be here for the June 23rd board meeting. Mary says I will be here because that's the day we have to vote off on the numbers from the vote, so. And as I'm inviting, oh yeah, budget newsletters will be in your mailboxes next week so that every member of our 4 towns, every community member with a receptacle will have a budget newsletter. And don't forget the budget meeting on May 26th.
Okay.
Is that on the board calendar?
It is, yes.
Wait a minute, is that after Labor Day, isn't it?
It's a Tuesday after Labor Day, I mean Memorial.
Memorial.
Yeah, don't run the calendar that fast.
I guess I'm gonna be there, I'm supposed to be at a meeting.
And that's why I'm going to invite Heidi to come to the pulpit, but as she's the pulpit, don't go here. My lay minister on the side.
All right,
Same change.
So as she's coming up, I just want to say that special ed was able to secure Cassie Druin for the middle school special ed Tech 3 position starting next year. And I also would like to announce sadly that Linda Hamill, a bus stop custodian who's been here for a long time, will be retiring on January 4th, 2027, but she put that in, so I wanted to get it reported out.
All right, good evening. So personnel updates, you just got one of them, which is that we did have an open ed tech position at the middle school that we have successfully filled for next year. We have a one-year ed tech position open at the high school. We held interviews yesterday and have a final interview to do tomorrow, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to have a candidate. Otherwise, our special education department is solid. As it has been for many years. We're really one of the lucky districts. We do keep our special ed teachers stick around typically, and most of our ed techs as well. So that's a real positive. We did finish our audit with the Department of Education. That has been finalized. It was due April 30th, but I had it into them by the beginning of April. So we are good for another 4 years before we'll be audited again. There were very few corrections needed. Our teachers have done a great job following the regulations and meeting all of the timeline requirements and completing the paperwork based on state and federal regulations. So that's a positive. Just in terms of caseloads this year, it's been a very busy year. We started out with 36 total evaluations needed for students. We are currently at 74. So we kind of more than doubled or just about doubled. We've had 38 referrals across the district. That is the most we've had since I started here in 2018. So it has been a very busy year. That is just added work on top of your special education teachers and the department as a whole. So I do want to just kind of note that every time there's a referral, there's quite a process that has to be followed and happen. 19 of those referrals came from Dirigo Elementary School. You would expect you'd have more of the referrals coming out of your elementary level. We've had only one referral for middle school and one for high school. We have had 17 for the cohort. So that's that CDS cohort I've talked to you about. A lot of those actually came from our pre-K teachers in our buildings of students with concerns. 13 of the 38 so far have qualified, 20 are still pending. That's pretty unheard of at this point in a school year. So we are working up until we are going to be holding IEP meetings up until the very last day of school, which is also not super typical, not a super typical year for that. We have 3 that didn't qualify out of the 38 and 2 where parents have declined services. So that's the status of the referrals. This happens pretty frequently in terms of students moving in and out. We've had 17 move in, 18 move out. So that's a pretty, most years when I'm up here talking to you about that, it's usually, for some reason, ends up landing that way. I'm happy to announce we've had 4 students that have successfully graduated from special education services. So they've met their goals, they've caught up to their peers or within that year and have been able to graduate. And we have 10 students officially graduating from high school with IEPs and 1 out-of-district student that is graduating this year as well. With our current numbers, we sit at 154. Excuse me. We've increased by 1 from last year at this time, but that doesn't account for the 20 that are still out there, many of which I know are going to qualify because they've already been screened by a speech provider who is recommending that we move forward with checking to see if there's a speech disability. So it's highly likely we're going to end up around 175 qualified students, which is about 21 more than last year at this time, at the end of the school year. So that would represent a 13.64% increase in special education students. If you look at that from a state perspective and nationally, we're pretty on par with what's happening out there. In terms of the cohort, we have 9 students that have qualified. We obviously still have some of those referral meetings in the works. And I will say the really great positive thing is there were many times at around this time of year that I would be meeting for CDS transition meetings for 4-year-olds and being told that they had been ordered to have evaluations done, but they couldn't find a provider yet to do it. So kids were sitting without being identified, or that, hey, we've had speech service on this IEP for a year and my child's never received a speech session. That's not the case at this point with these students. They're getting that early intervention, which is very positive because oftentimes means they can move out of the special education service realm and move forward the earlier the intervention gets in there. So it's been a real positive in that way in terms of making sure students are getting what they need at a young age. And that was it for tonight.
Questions, Rachel?
What do you mean when you say cohort?
So that would be, it is law by 2028 that every school district in the state of Maine will be servicing 3- and 4-year-olds.
Right.
So we have done that this
Got it.
year.
Okay, I remember you saying that now. Thank you.
Out of the 9, is the majority of them speech?
Yes, yep. Although I will say there's a real uptick in autism identification at this point. But most of ours have been speech. And those that have been more significant in terms of their needs, they are students that we have at the CDS Opportunities Program. So they're getting some of that specialized programming right now.
Any other questions for Heidi? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Oh, we're down to, you're all done. Look at that, shut the front door. All right, committee
Can I ask you a
reports.
quick question?
Yep.
You've got a resignation from a bus driver. Has Kenny got things out to get someone to
No,
replace?
because it's not until on January 4th.
I know, but, no, January.
She's retiring there.
We will before she retires.
Okay. I
A
didn't-
little bit of a runway.
I didn't
All right,
read
we gotta get it. All right, thank you, Bruce. Student report, never have any. Policy, we're gonna do, what's the next, May?
May 26th.
Oh, Lord. Okay, at 5:30. We got 3. We gotta make sure our policy on cell phone that kind of coincides with the state's. They had the public comment. They've added some new law, which I haven't, public part. They call it comment. Ours is public participation. So I've and just to look at, Pam had sent me a thing about AEDs. We'll have a discussion about that. So that is that. Finance?
We signed the warrants today, and then 2 weeks from now, on what day, Mary, are we having the,
May 26th for the
May
budget meeting?
26th?
Yep.
Same date.
Same date because we don't
We're
have a
gonna
regular.
approve the vote on all the warrants to go to the town. It's public. It'd be nice if we could come, and your spouse if you have to.
Okay, y'all set? Curriculum? No? Okay, buildings and grounds.
Nothing.
Negotiations?
None this year.
No. Personnel, I know they had interviews. Ad hoc, I don't even know if we're scheduled. Dropout Prevention Committee, I see May 18th at 3 o'clock.
It was a meeting while I was calling.
It was Rachel and I sitting there, so we
Maybe it showed up.
didn't do any business. We're
I
gonna
wonder why I
wait
didn't
till
see any
May.
notes. I'm like,
Oh, guess they
Girl
blew you
Scouts
off.
for you.
Oh, sorry. And technology, no executive session, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. It was Julie and Brad. Got it.
I should have made a motion to replace the pens.